We're at the Bolzano station. We made it down with the bus.
We're going to Rome. Really comfy seats. I really like this place at this train. Honestly, don't know if we're first class or not. Prettiest. Let's go to Rome. Let's see.
Roma.
We're having so much fun and we got the best one ever.
After 5 hours in the train, we are officially in Rome.
I'm just a little bit tired. We're in Rome, poopy doo doo. Rome is the most Catholic city on the planet Earth. Right?
Made it to Rome.
Here's the elevator. Here it comes. I see it coming. Look.
Here, Sarah.
Oh. Go. I am going in a taxi right now with Lasse right here. We're here with Lynn and Jill. And yeah. Hi, I'm not Jill. And Mommy right here. We're going to the Colosseum. Whoa! We're having fun and yeah, that's good.
Oh, boom. You know, big.
He's heavy. Ciao. Grazie.
Parece que sabían.
They came in like 15 minutes.
55,000 people.
They would have them all in 15 minutes.
And
what a system.
20. We still use that system today with the numbers above the doors.
Above the doors, right.
That's cool.
Right.
What do you think about the Colosseum?
We're at the Colosseum and I love it. It's cool.
They were built about 2,000 years ago during the Imperial Age. Today, we can use them only like chairs, only like decorations. Why it was built so?
Hi guys, this is my mom.
Hi, guys.
Sarah. I'm Racy. Let's go catch up to another guy. I'm Rasa.
In fact, this monument was built quite only for the cruel ones. And the people of Rome, quite every day, could watch 3 different kind of cruel games in 3 different moments.
I wish I wasn't here fighting.
I'm kind of moved and overwhelmed.
Today, in the north of Africa, in Egypt, for example, there aren't any elephants, right? But during the Imperial Age, there were a lot of elephants. Well, the ancient Romans killed them all only for this kind of games.
I feel inside everybody all on my heart.
When the emperor, from his body, so from that position, could decide how many slaves had to die, what kind of slaves had to die, and also with what method. Killed by gladiators, killed by wild animals, killed by other big slaves, and also criminals were killed inside in midday. This is absolutely crazy for us, but for the ancient Romans, it was absolutely normal to watch the massacre of this kind of people and animals, because slaves, prisoners, gladiators, animals were only objects.
It's spectacular.
I found the most interesting the tigers down here, which they brought up, so the gladiators could fight them.
And they were killed on that floor, only for the leisure of the people of Rome.
The ancient lion cage.
This?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm pretty sure it was like 14.
It took 12 years to build the Colosseum, which is actually called the Flavian. Right.
Now we're gonna go check out the top. Hopefully it's awesome, just like the bottom. Look, there's pigeons. out of this like black smoke, according to the like little fireplace, the gladiators, they fight on a wooden platform, and then they have lions and stuff come up, and in the morning either like slaves fight, slaves or animals fight, or animals versus animals. In the afternoon they have gladiators kill slaves, and then at the night, which is where everybody comes to see, the gladiators versus the gladiators. Rock. We saw a real witch, but was nice. And I really liked her.
Gladiators.
Pine tree, Mediterranean pine tree.
Where are you from, David?
Where are you from? Colorado. No, it's called Colorado. It's colored. Is it black and white or is it in color? How old are you? 9. Can you count? Really good. The Forum was the center of Rome and the center of the Western world. This little stretch of land behind me here, this is where all the decisions which shaped our civilizations today, this is where they were made 2,000 years ago. Economical, political, social, and even religious decisions were all made here for the whole of the West. And today, in part, it's still standing, which makes this, in my opinion, the most important thing you will see in Rome today. 2,000 years ago, everybody would come down here in the morning to see people, or to be seen by people, or to listen to people, or to speak to people, or to buy, to sell, to go to the gym, to go to the dentist, to do everything. It was the center of life. The building is right on top of the Capitol Hill. That's the Capitol Hill. And that building, with the white frames around the windows, all of that was all designed by Michelangelo. He was an artist who lived there a few years ago. He was average and he got the job to paint the windows. Don't tell me I've got to explain Michelangelo is going to ruin my day. It's already ruined. You know who Michelangelo was, yeah? Ninja Turtles. You know the one with the ninjagoes? The orange? Him. In fact, if you go on the other side of that building, there's a beautiful square with steps which go all the way down. All of that was all designed by Michelangelo. And that building today is the mayor's office, where the mayor works. If you look at the Forum from here, you see it's a valley. It's a valley between the hills. All of this area here, 3,000 years ago, this was a swamp. So when the Romans got here, the first thing they did is they started building the Cloaca Maxima. The Cloaca Maxima was a huge drainage system which would collect all the water and the earth which came down from the hills when it rained and dumped it all into the river. It's like a big sewer system. This system was built 2,500 years ago, and today it's still here, still works, and that's what we use as sewers in all of this area here of the city of Rome today. But this drainage system stopped working only after the fall of the Roman Empire, and only because nobody maintained it. So it slowly started getting clogged up and then it blocked. When it blocked, the rain would bring down the earth from the hills, and the earth would pile up into the Forum, and the level of the ground in the Forum started to rise. And rise, and if you see that temple down there with the big white columns, if you look very carefully, behind the white columns there's a green door. Can you see the green door? Never mind, if you can't see the green door, imagine a door. Are you imagining it? What color is it? That's the door. Imagine a green door, which you wouldn't want to walk out from today, because it's about a 6-meter drop today from outside that door. But when the temple got converted into a church, that door is where the level of the ground in the Forum had risen to. Everything below that level there has been buried for hundreds and hundreds of years because this sewer system had blocked. Which is actually a very good thing for us today, because it managed to preserve a lot of things which we can see today. We only started digging it up in the last 100 years, 150 years.
I learned that I can drink from all the fountains in Rome.
Not all of them.
Not the big splashy ones.
Navigate us to our hotel.
so that people could go up there and have a nice view of the city. So that
haven't?
people would
Oh, yeah.
forever remember how big this hill is. You see that red flag flying with the white cross?
So that's the king.
He is the king who built this building, which is white. It's not even 150 years old. And the Italians don't like it because he destroyed a whole historic village to build that. And that horse that has him on top, when they were building it, they would all have lunch inside the horse.
See some little benches there.
It's rather creepy inside here. Human bones were under a church. What are they, Reese? What are those?
Oh,
It's pretty crazy.
It smells like sewage.
The reason I got the guys is that I don't mind losing guys. It's women I have a problem with.
Now he just singled out all the men, and we don't know what's going to happen.
Because it's not there. You can't see it because you're normally between 3 and 7 meters above ancient Roman street level. And the reason is the river. We have always had a big problem with this river because this river floods. And when I say floods, I mean floods. So at the beginning, the Romans were all right because they built the Cloaca Maxima, the drainage system, the sewer system. That helped clear the problem. And also, the Romans had manpower to do anything they wanted. They could move mountains. You'd be surprised what I could do with 20,000 slaves. Women. Never mind. So the Romans were all right. But then, Rome, a city of 1 million, 1.5 million, went down to nothing, to 5,000, which is nothing. And then it went to 8,000, 12,000, 13,000, back down to 9,000, 15. Let's say that it stabilized itself at about 30,000. Yep, for hundreds of years. That was the entire population of the whole city of Rome. A city which had a was built for 1.8 million people, had only those few people. Yeah.
whoa! Look at this enormous store.
Did you see that one, our place?
Of course, maybe to be done. Today we're showing you this thematic card right here. These are also fake. Well, he wanted to jump, but he's really scared.
Those ruins, those walls, is what's left of these.
16 columns of Egyptian granite. One single block.
Fifth century, 6th century, 7th century, 8th century, going on and on and on. Rome reached 1 million people again at the beginning of the 1900s, 100 years ago. Okay?
At the fountain Trevi. A big fountain. I guess there's a bunch of writing on it. If you call writing spectacular, then it's your building.
So, for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, this was a little village. Imagine a city like London or New York, which has 10 million people, which suddenly goes down to 40,000. Where do you think those people would go and live? I would go to Buckingham Palace because I said it first. That's my house. You can go anywhere you want. But then the flood comes and you're dead. If you're not dead, your house is flooded with mud and trees and all sorts of rubbish.
Okay, this one. Ready, Mom?
Upside down. See how far? Yeah.
I got this in Rome where we're walking.
When the Romans built, they built solid. So you've got the best foundations ever for your house or your palace. And in fact, if you were an ancient Roman, if you were here today from 1,800 years ago, 2,000 years ago, you could easily tell where your house was 2,000 years ago just by looking at Rome from above or on a map. Because all you got to do is look at the shape of the buildings today. The most beautiful example I can give you is Piazza Navona. If you look at it, one side of the square is flat, and the buildings run parallel all the way down, and on the opposite side, the buildings curve. That's because that square is right on top of an athletic stadium, which is underneath. An athletic stadium which was built there 1,900 years ago by the Emperor Domitian. He loved the athletics, he built a stadium there for the athletics. That square has exactly the same shape because if you look underneath those buildings, you'll see the stands of the stadium. If you were an ancient Roman here today, you'd look at a map, you'd go, immediately, you'd go, that's the Emperor Domitian Stadium. This is Pompey the Great's theatre, my house was here. And if you dig, you probably find it.
Home is so nice and fresh.
Adios.
And the gladiator. Chomp, 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 chomp. You want to learn like us? Comment down below.
De dulce vino de Castelli, como el verde de los pinos.
If you want to see an old Roman city, you don't have to go as far as Pompeii. Yeah, because what happened, the river changed its course and it completely submerged Ostia, the port, in mud and silt and things, and it disappeared. We've only started digging it up about 80 years ago, 100 years ago. Yeah? And today, you can go from the Pyramid metro station, you catch the train there, and in about 40 minutes, 45 minutes, you're there. And it's beautiful. It's €8 to pay to get inside, and nobody goes there, nobody. You can bring a picnic, which is a beautiful idea. You'll see the houses, the rich people's houses. Then there's a big theatre there where you can sit down and have a picnic. Or in front, there's beautiful mosaic floors. There's temples. There's baths. It's nice.
Bye, everybody. Hope you like the video.